Johnny's natural musk just made a beautiful girl gag outside of the campus library. Not metaphorically, actually gag. It's 48 hours until college graduation, and Johnny has average grades, a sketchy future, and virginity that refuses to budge. Over the next 2 days, Johnny is going to test the strangest, most surprising, and most scientifically supported things that supposedly turn women on. Will he succeed? 48 hours until graduation. Johnny has spent his last 4 years working on his creative arts degree, which mostly means AI will take his job, and hanging out with friends. As an introvert, he got comfortable being the wingman. Even when he was dating, he somehow always ended up in the friend zone. But statistically, it shouldn't have been this way. Since the late 70s, most students at a standard American university have been women. The odds should be in his favor, but Johnny's dry patch is more like a desert. He's tried the manosphere, he tried guy magazines, and now there's only one thing left: science. Johnny remembers a social ed class that he took freshman year, one of those lectures nobody paid attention to because it was scheduled right after lunch, and the professor kept on saying pair bonding in a flirty way. But one thing did stick: smell. Johnny learned that scent plays a real role in attraction. According to the 1995 Sweaty T-shirt study, women preferred the scent of men whose immune system genes, known as MHC, differed from their own. The match is more likely to produce healthy offspring. And that is all the info Johnny needs. He grabs an unwashed hoodie from the communal hamper and he rushes out to the quad. Well, that's his first mistake. Sure, women can find certain natural male scents attractive, and those preferences can be stronger around ovulation when estrogen rises and sensitivity to cues linked to testosterone increase, but that doesn't mean you should smell like a jockstrap hidden in a locker room for 2 weeks. And Johnny learns that quickly as a female student dry heaves right in front of him. 30 hours until graduation. It's time for Johnny to switch strategies. From now on, he promises to be as focused as he is lustful. But before he buckles down, he takes the most aggressive shower of his life. He scrubs himself with a 5-in-1 gel, the self-care version of bleach. He towels off, he cleans his fingers, and does some emergency male scraping, and finishes by emptying half a bottle of dollar store cologne into the air and walking through it repeatedly. Some fresh clothes, and Johnny is reborn, a new man, confident, dripping aura. It's time to take the show on the road. In the dorm hallway, his study buddy Millie, a communications major that Johnny always found cute, passes him. She stops and smirks, and immediately Johnny's brain short-circuits. But it's not that kind of smirk. Millie rolls her eyes and walks away. You see, women tend to have more sensitive olfactory systems, the sensory system responsible for our sense of smell. And it plays a big role in the fabric of female arousal. It communicates good health, which means greater partner suitability, and whether someone is safe to be around or is someone to avoid. Johnny's problem isn't that he smelled too much, it's that he smelled like trying too hard. And if scent is about health, then maybe this isn't a smell problem at all, maybe it's an entire Johnny problem. 23 hours to graduation. Since the dawn of time, men everywhere have an emergency go-to when they're young, dumb, and full of raging hormones. He needs to get buff. Having strong pelvic muscles, good circulation, balanced hormones, and a healthy weight helps men perform better in life and in the bedroom. You know, winning the genetic lottery. Studies link posture, gait, and symmetry to attractiveness, and all of those nerds can't be wrong, right? To eventually hit a home run, Johnny hits the gym. He is shirtless, running on the treadmill, and it's not a pretty sight. His version of a healthy lifestyle is a ramen noodle diet, weekend-long Yu-Gi-Oh! Sessions, and an old paddle match, all washed down with a hint of sexual frustration, and it shows. He hits the incline button and ups the pace. When Johnny comes around, he's lying on the ground. A pretty attractive trainer is waving a towel over him, while a sweaty fat guy is trying to give him mouth-to-mouth. As the trainer gives him a basic health check, Johnny nods his head enthusiastically, dropping the odd, "Yeah." Johnny read that listening and asking additional questions isn't just common decency, it also helps increase emotional intimacy. But he also wants to be an alpha. One bench press joke later, the trainer walks away with the biggest ick she's ever gotten. But Johnny is undeterred. Girls love a good sense of humor, right? It's time to get busy or graduate trying. 20 hours to graduation. While having lunch in the cafeteria, a group of girls swings by Johnny's table. They invite his friends, and Johnny technically, to a sorority party later that night. There's going to be a DJ, a beer pong tournament, and a whole lot of tasty homemade snacks. The joke just wrote itself. Johnny goes for the jugular. A few polite smiles, some awkward glances, and the invitation is instantly recalled. Johnny sits there mid-chew, realizing that he has once again mistaken confidence for clearance, which is unfortunate because a great unproblematic sense of humor really is one of the most powerful aphrodisiacs there is. Making someone laugh activates the brain's reward pathways: dopamine for pleasure and motivation, endorphins for good feelings, and oxytocin for bonding and trust. Make her laugh and you can make her… well, you get the idea. Shared laughter strengthens our bonds and elevates one's attractiveness, or riz as Johnny calls it, by signaling intelligence, thus good genes. Shared laughter builds connection. It signals intelligence, social awareness, emotional safety, and it can increase your chances of a woman letting you see her naked, if done correctly, that is. But Johnny didn't do that. He confused funny with unfiltered, a rookie mistake made by comedians, podcasters, and desperate adolescent boys everywhere. But this isn't the time to spiral. To get off the self-gratification trajectory, Johnny needs to dust himself off and try again. He is not proud of what he's about to attempt now, but desperate times call for desperate measures. 18 hours to graduation. Johnny's back in his dorm room. His eyes are red. He looks like he's been crying. Everyone asks what happened. He insists he's fine. Nothing happened. Like all young men his age, Johnny's frontal lobe isn't yet fully developed, and his perceived blue ball blues are really getting to him. After the sorority fiasco, a bulb went off. Maybe it's not all about him. He reads about acts of kindness online, and he is willing to give it a go. Altruism consistently ranks as a desirable trait in long-term partners, signaling emotional maturity, trustworthiness, and the ability to care about someone other than yourself. It's solid science. When someone behaves selflessly, it can increase feelings of safety and warmth. It can boost bonding hormones like oxytocin and serotonin, and reduce stress responses in the brain. In simpler terms, kindness makes people relax. Relaxed people are more open to connection. Johnny rolls up his sleeves and gets to work. He bakes some homemade brownies for the party, a peace offering, no flirting, no jokes, just vibes. He brings them over early to help out, stacking plates, cleaning up, and staying out of the way. For a brief, glorious moment, it is working. Then Johnny opens his mouth. And just like that, he becomes the first man in recorded history to be permanently banned from the Kappa Kappa Gamma house. 12 hours until graduation. Johnny, he's not backing down, even if it means busting every female sexuality myth before busting a nut. He has only one class left before the best years of his life are over, and he slowly becomes disillusioned with adult life. The professor is wrapping up the final lecture on American history, and from here on out, the future is in the students' hands. The auditorium buzzes with relief, ambition, and that specific optimism reserved for people who don't yet know what rent costs. Johnny's study buddy crush, Millie, is sitting right in front of him. This is the last chance he'll have to make a lasting good impression, emphasis on the good part, to show competence, intelligence, capability, to be seen as someone who has his life together, or at least knows what year the Civil War ended. Competence is attractive. It signals resourcefulness, adaptability, and the ability to navigate challenges and offer value. Traits that, from an evolutionary standpoint, increase reproductive success. Confidence and competence also reduce stress responses, which, as Johnny is slowly learning, is kind of the whole game. Johnny raises his hand, and there's an audible gasp. The professor's eyes grow dangerously wide. Suddenly, every eye in the room is aimed directly at him. Johnny's heart thunders in his chest. He feels clammy. He opens his mouth, and his voice starts to squeak. It cracks mid-sentence. He stutters. There's a giggle from the back of the lecture hall. He starts speaking quieter and quieter, like he's slowly fading out of existence. This is not helping. Women tend to show a stronger preference for deeper, more confident voices, especially during fertile phases. Vocal depth is loosely linked with hormonal stability, confidence, and non-threatening dominance. With every passing second, Johnny sounds like he is apologizing for existing. And then, somewhere between panic and improvisation, he takes a hard left turn into a theory about Abraham Lincoln being a gay vampire. In a dive bar, this might have killed, but in an academic setting, it kills whatever he can get at energy Johnny had left. Eventually, he just stops talking. The professor thanks him for this input, and he quickly moves on. Johnny can feel his shirt sticking to him and his world collapsing around him. 8 hours to graduation. Low self-esteem is hardly ever a turn-on unless you have issues yourself. Johnny's friends give him a standing ovation after class. It's meant to be supportive, but it feels more like a public shaming ceremony. Johnny is usually fine with laughing at himself. Self-deprecation is kind of his brand, but this one is hard to take. Johnny rushes to the campus library and speed reads every self-help book, confidence guide, and motivational manifesto he can find. He binges it. It's like a TED Talk to get laid. Mantras, mindsets, power phrases. And it works. He starts to feel surprisingly calm and self-assured. A small amount of confidence creeps in, his posture improves, his thoughts get bolder, his creative juices start flowing unchecked. And while his friends are busy with their girlfriends and packing for gap years, Johnny is alone, with just his newfound confidence, a loose understanding of boundaries, and 12 hours left on the clock. 6 hours to go. Like every desperate academic, Johnny has turned to the one place he can get answers: ChatGPT. The convo turns dark. Even Chat has had enough. It tells Johnny to embrace celibacy or take a more permanent option. Johnny decides that there's only one thing for it. He spies a crusty sock across the room and, you know what, this is getting too hard to watch. Can we just… Hey, Johnny, listen up, because this part actually matters. There's an important distinction between being awkward and being abusive, and Johnny, for all his many mistakes, is not the bad kind of guy. He respects boundaries, he takes no for an answer the first time he hears it, he doesn't leave sleazy comments under thirst traps, he doesn't use alcohol as a strategy, he doesn't stalk, manipulate, or retaliate when he's rejected, he doesn't spread rumors, and he really understands the concept of consent. That already puts Johnny ahead of an alarming number of men. Johnny isn't dangerous or a predator, he is just annoying. And annoying is fixable. 4 hours to graduation. Despite evidence to the contrary, Johnny is actually emotionally intelligent. Not in the always saying the right things kind of way, we clearly established that, but in the way that matters more. He can recognize what he is feeling, he can sit with it and not take it out on other people. After 2 days of straight-up rejection, embarrassment, and public failure, Johnny isn't lashing out. He's not acting cruel or blaming women for his problems. He is accepting that he was at fault, and that is an attractive quality in a partner. Emotional intelligence isn't about processing information correctly, it's about controlling emotion, staying respectful under stress, handling disappointment without turning hostile. Johnny contacts the girls he hit on in the last couple of days. He apologizes, he owns it, and all the girls accept it. Well, all except for one, and that hits different from the others. As far as Johnny is concerned, it's over. Graduation is coming. His virginity is somehow stronger than ever, and whatever his experiment was, it clearly failed. But he didn't fail because the science was wrong. He failed because he tried to speed-run humanity. 2 hours until graduation. Johnny's in the middle of an important realization, not a big, cinematic one, a quiet, inconvenient one, the kind that just sneaks up on you once you stop panicking. Millie. He's liked her since freshman year. Maybe he even loved her. He's not sure when it crossed that line, but it obviously did. How could he have missed this? How did he spend the next 4 years chasing every wrong signal while the right one was sitting right next to him in study sessions? The spiral starts to form. Then there's a knock at the door. Johnny freezes. It's Millie. She looks awkward, nervous. She feels bad about what happened to Johnny earlier, that she didn't mean to crush Johnny's spirit when he unleashed cologne-based chemical warfare in the hallway. She holds out a small gift bag. Luckily, Johnny is speechless, so he can't ruin the moment. For the first time all day, both of them feel safe and respected, and Johnny doesn't feel like he's running out of time anymore. 1 hour until graduation. When Johnny's roommates return to the dorm to grab their caps and gowns, there's a sock on the door handle. Now go check out weirdest sex customs around the world, or click on this video instead.